Hey guys, welcome to Fun&gun. In this particular video, we're going to be going over my new pocket carry setup here. As you can see, it conceals pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and pull it out and fire a few rounds. Seems to work pretty good. Let's go ahead and head into the table here and we'll give you a better look at it. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get you a closer look at this particular setup. I'm going to go ahead and start by saying that this is unloaded. There's nothing in the chamber or the mag well there. And well, let's go ahead and say it. If this is not the most redneck Beretta 21A setup you've ever seen, well, you're lying to yourself, because this took just about every ounce of my redneck engineering abilities to figure out how to actually get this to work, especially for the fact I've only got about $35 in this whole setup. The mount was 10 bucks, the red dot was 25 bucks. And let's go ahead and get into this, how it's actually mounted to the gun, or the suppressor, I mean. So this particular mount is actually made for a 1-inch scope to mount a red dot to the top of it. And well, this suppressor is just a little bit over 1 inch. So therefore, as you'll see, there's tape on the top, and that's to keep the metal from scratching the suppressor itself. And then on the bottom side, you actually got 1/2 of this adapter set that comes with this mount to actually adapt it to a 1 inch. So you put the 1 inch on the bottom, put a little tape on the top, and that actually gets it where you can tighten this up to your suppressor, and it actually stays in place quite well. Now let's go ahead and get into some things I had to do and the drawbacks of this. And I think the main drawback to my setup here is the cheap red dot. And as you'll see here, there's a washer in the front and 2 in the back, and that's the same on both sides. And the reason for that is this particular little red dot doesn't actually have enough elevation adjustment to actually sight this in at all to start with, and I didn't think it was going to work. I got to doing some thinking, so I went ahead and put a little bit of cant into it using these washers, and that allowed me to actually sight it into some usable accuracy here, as you'll see in a second in the shooting portion of this video. This actually worked pretty good, especially for the price. Like I said, 35 bucks, you can't hardly beat that. So if you want to give this a go, it ain't going to break the bank. It's something fun. Now, I'm not going to lie, now that I know it does work, kind of makes me want to put a little bit nicer red dot on this to see if we can get any more accuracy at a little bit farther range, but I might do that in a future video. And let's go ahead and say that those also, I forgot, these aren't the screws that come with it. I ended up using longer screws. This little screw right here is actually what you get in the set, and the longer screws allows for the washers to be a little bit more secure. I think you could have used these shorter screws, but you wouldn't have got as much thread into the bottom part of the mount. And also, this allows me to loosen this up and just slide the whole set off if I want to. And another thing, if you don't have a suppressor, you're waiting on your suppressor to come in. I did try it, and you can actually use a 1 inch like eBay comp here. I'll try to put a link to this in the description as well. And you can actually clamp this same setup onto this comp instead of a suppressor. And it's actually a little bit easier. If I recall, you don't actually, you can actually use the 2 little plastic shims, and you don't have to have the piece of tape. It actually fits this a little bit better than it does the suppressor being an actual 1 inch diameter. So if you don't have a suppressor, or you're waiting on your suppressor, this will get you by until you get one if you want to mess with this idea on your Beretta 21 here. Or I would say this would actually be pretty fun on a life card. Something I thought about picking up for this specific reason as well, but don't really know if I want to spend the money on one of those to get one shot and have to sit there and reload it when I could just shoot 8. So let's go ahead and show you me shooting this a little bit, and it actually does work. And let's go ahead and head off of that part. Okay guys, gonna see if we can get any kind of accuracy out of this. Not expecting much. As you can see, we're pretty close here, around 10 yards, and I set up some of my biggest targets that I have. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. Run a few more mags here. As you can see, it actually does work. Not the most practical thing, but it actually is, like, you know, it's pretty fun actually. A little bit hard to find the dot in this cheap red dot, but I'll go ahead and run one more. as you can see, not the most practical thing, but well, it's fun with a gun, and that's what we're about here. So thanks for watching.